Hi, I'm Joseph, co-founder of the Abundant Culture Fund, and today we're getting ready to analyze an investment opportunity that has the ability to grow your retirement income faster than you ever thought possible and with a lot less risk as well. A lot of people do not know that they can use small businesses as a retirement vehicle, and I believe it's the best retirement vehicle out there because it generates way more income than most other retirement assets, as you'll see later on in this video. But also, if you have the right team in place, it can also have a lot less risk as well. Now, if you take a look at my screen here, we have a Novelty Pirate Cruises in I think they spelled cruises wrong, but in Fort Lauderdale, and they have no competition. And usually when a business says they have no competition, I don't really believe them. But in this specific instance, I definitely do because as you can see, it's basically your business is not only the operations, but this boat. Like they run their business on a boat. And I think this is such a unique company. And when I saw it, I literally fell in love with it. I'm actually going to follow up on this one eventually because I'm going to be moving to Florida anyway. And I like this. I mean, this is a really cool company. It fits my criteria, which is the most important part. And it's also really fun as well. And that's always a plus when you can get that in a small business where it's not just not only does it make money, but it's also enjoyable as well, which I think is one of the most important parts. So yeah, really the first thing that stands out is that it's a freaking boat as a business. So that's really the main thing. The other thing is that the owner currently works about 15 to 20 hours per week. And based on the sales, the amount of sales that they're doing, you can easily outsource whatever that owner is doing, honestly. And all of their numbers are based on 11 months because I think in 1 month, I don't know which month it is, they have an annual boat show, and I guess they don't do any tours during that time of the year or whatever. So with this business, they do all types of boat tours. They do like I think they do birthday parties, and different things of that nature. And really, it's just a really cool business model, in my opinion. And it seats up to 48 people from what it says here. So it seems like you can definitely make a decent amount of money in a fairly short period of time using this. And it has a indoor storage for the boat as well during hurricane season, so that mitigates a lot of your risk as well. It has 5 part-time employees, and the seller is moving out of the state to take over their in-laws business, and add to their in-laws business. So that's actually another reason that I see some people sell for every now and again. They're maybe not much older than I am, but significantly older than I am. But they may have a parent or in-law that is older than even they are, and their business is more successful. So they'll kind of sell their current company to go run their in-laws or their parents' company as well. I have ran into that before, and yeah, I think it's a decent reason to sell because if I was in a situation like that, I might sell too. It makes perfect sense. So let's dig into the numbers. It has an asking price of $490,000, a gross revenue of $770,000, which I think is pretty decent when you're taking into consideration they generate that in 11 months and not 12. A EBITDA of 390,000. Now that's another thing that stood out to me. That based on that, they have a ridiculously high profit margin. And if it were another business, I would be kind of hesitant to believe it. But because it's a boat and your overhead is the boat, I can believe that they might have a really, really decent profit margin, which I think is really great. Furniture, fixture, and equipment of $200,000, and they were established in 2011. So that's good, and they have 5 stars on TripAdvisor. So awesome, awesome business. So let's see what this company would actually look like if my investment fund actually picked it up as an investment and what my investors would actually make off of it. So if you turn your attention to my screen here, I have a fund return analysis calculator up in the form of a spreadsheet, and it has a bunch of data on it that I use to make very in-depth decisions on investments on the behalf of my fund. However, for time's sake and for today's purposes of this video, I want you to pay attention to the numbers that are color-coded because they are the most important numbers, and because it's about what are my investors putting in versus what are they getting out. So we have the asking price of $590,000 right here in the first green box, and then right by it, assuming that we don't use any financial leverage to buy the business, which we usually do, and assuming that we don't grow the business at all, which we do plan to do a lot, the business should continue to cash flow $390,000 a year. And off of that return, my investors would actually make a 48% return on investment just from cash flow, no growth, no leverage. That is a very nice, I'm impressed, if I do say so myself, and I look at businesses for sale every single day. So I think that's a very solid return, and as a dollar amount, that would be about $283,000 per year that my investors would actually be getting after all expenses. So let's see how this return would actually stack up against the returns that you can get from other retirement assets. In order to figure that out, I created a retirement income comparison calculator, and what I did is I studied the numbers affiliated with stocks, bonds, and multifamily real estate because they are the traditional go-to assets for retirement. And I found that if you don't use any financial leverage, and if you don't necessarily include growth in those metrics, if you just measure the income, your return on investment would be around 6% or less per year, meaning that if you invested $100,000 into those assets, you would be getting $6,000 or less per year. Most of the time less, especially in the case of stocks. So that means if you invest $500,000 into those assets, your income would be $30,000. Like I said, most likely less, but some people are okay with that because they don't necessarily need a lot of money to retire. But the way I feel about retirement is it should be about abundance and enjoying yourself. So I don't think you should deny yourself anything in retirement because you worked for it. So you can invest that same $500,000 into a business like that inside of the Abundant Culture Fund and make a 48% return on your money instead of a 6% return on your money. And that would actually jump your income up to $240,000 per year in your retirement per year. That is nice, in my opinion. So that is an increase of $210,000 in annual income, which is also a 801% increase. Basically meaning that you'll make 8%, well, actually 8 times more in your retirement by investing in the Abundant Culture Fund in that business, as opposed to the traditional assets that everybody else is used to retire, basically. So let's say you have a goal to just retire off of $60,000 a year. How much would you have to invest into your retirement in order to generate that income? Well, as we can see here, you would have to invest $1 million in order to generate $60,000 in retirement income. However, with the returns we're able to generate in the Abundant Culture Fund, you would only have to invest about $124,000 into your retirement in order to generate the same $60,000 of retirement income. So tell me what sounds better to you. Investing $1 million just to make $60,000 a year, or investing $124,000 to make $60,000 a year? I think the second option is definitely easier. So what that really breaks down to is that there's about $875,000 that you would no longer have to invest into retirement in order to achieve your retirement goal. That's basically $875,000 that you can now do whatever you want with. You can choose either not to make it because you're retired, you don't need to anymore, or if you make it, you can choose to do whatever you want with it. You know, buy a house, buy a car, buy a couple houses and a couple cars, buy a boat, kind of like the one we just seen, or pay for your kids' education, your grandkids' education, give it to charity, whatever you want to do with it, or, reinvest some of it, which I think is a smart decision. At least some of it, not all of it. You should enjoy at least a decent portion of it, in my opinion. But that pretty much concludes our analysis for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, if you're somebody who wants to double your retirement income in less time, with less investment, less risk, and less fees, reach out to us at abundantculturefund.com. Also, if you're a small business owner who is looking to sell your business so that you can focus on the next phase in your life, also reach out to us at abundantculturefund.com. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.